This conference will now be recorded.
Let me go and open the yesterday's class notepad. The yesterday's class, we started discussing about the approvals. Let me go and open the class notes. Go to the class notes. 6 p.m. I think here it is not. Let me go and open it from here. Now, serious. In yesterday's class, we started discussing about the approvals. So, as we know that there are two types of approvals. So, types of approvals. One is single level approval, and second is multi-level approval. In yesterday's class, we discussed about the single level approvals. That means how to uh, get the approvals from the managers or approval process. And now in today's session, we'll discuss about multi-level approval case. Multi-level approval means let's take the getting the approvals from the managers and getting the approvals from the HR. So in today's session, we'll be discussing about how to go and uh, create an approval process, that is multi-level approval process. In yesterday's class, we discussed about leave request. So recording the single level approval, we discussed one scenario, that is leave request. So first of all, in the Power Apps, we created a form. In the Power Apps, we created a form. Whenever the employee is filling that form, a leave request form, so automatically whatever the data, that leave request will be stored in where? Data sources. That leave request will be stored in where? Data sources. What is the data source I'm taking here is, so that the data source we are taking here is SharePoint. Now, whenever the data comes into the data sources, by taking this data as a reference, with the help of Power Automate, I need to go and start the approval process. So once the data comes into the data sources, I need to go and use the Power Automate. By using the Power Automate, we discussed about how to go and start the approval process, how to go and create a flow to get the approval from the managers when the employee applies for a leave. So this is a single level approval. In this class we discussed. And now in today's session we'll discuss about multi-level approval case. So once the manager is approved, I want to take the approval from the HR also. So how to go work with the multi-level approvals, we'll discuss now in today's session. So to work with the today is class 2. Today is class 2. So in this class 2 we discuss about multi-level approvals case. Regarding the approvals, today is the class 2. Today we'll discuss about multi-level approvals. One is taking from the manager and second one is from HR. So I'm going to use the same list, guys. Whatever the list we used in yesterday's class, this is the list I am using in yesterday's class, right? Leave request. So the same list I'm using here also. Leave approval is the list name. So the same columns. So just I'm adding two more columns here. One is HR column and second one is manager comments column. So already whatever the fields or columns I'm having here, the same list I'm going to use here also, but I have the same fields like leave type, description, from date, to date, status, and then manager, who is the manager, and what is the comments of that manager. Next, who is the HR, and what are the HR comments. And now see, here I'm going to change the manager names here, guys. Who is the manager names, and HR says, let's say I'm taking the manager as Sunil, and I'm going to take the another one more as Anil Kumar. So these are the two, one is manager, second is HR I'm taking. Just I'm changing the users. So here also, who is the HR means maybe the HR is Sunil Kumar, or maybe the HR is an Anil, Sunil or Anil. Just I'm replacing it. So I'm adding two more columns here. One is HR, who is the HR choice column. Second one is manager comments. Now let me go and open the SharePoint and let me go and create these two columns in that list, guys. Already we have one list, that is leave approval. So just to go to that list, let me go and open the SharePoint. Let me try to go and add these two columns there. So let me go to them. Let me go and open First, let me go and open the Power Apps. Let me go and open the Power Apps. And from here, let me go and open the SharePoint. Let me go and open what? SharePoint. Now go to the SharePoint. Let me go to the Power Automate flows. Go to the Power Automate flows. And now there is one list here. What's that list we created in yesterday's class? Leave approval. Go to this list. And this is the schema of that list. Now what's my requirement here is I want to add a few more columns into this list. Now what columns I want to add it here is I want to add the HR and then HR comments. I'm having the manager, right, and manager comments. Like same way I want to add the HR column and then HR comments. Now how to add those columns? Go to the list settings. Go to the list settings and scroll down. Let me go and click on add columns. That means create a column. Let me go and create a column. The column I want to create here is HR. And what is the data type of this column I'm going to take here is, let me take it as a choice column. Let me go and take the data type as a choice column. And who I want to keep it as HR and manager means, let's say these two employees I'm going to select. Just copy and let me go scroll down. Let me go and keep the choices here. One is Anil and second one is Sunil Kumar. These are the choices I'm adding. Now by default, I don't want to keep any choices. Just go and click on OK button. Just I'm adding one more column here, HR column. So if you see the column is added, HR choice column. Next, I want to add one more column. Go and click on create column again. Go and click on the create column. The column name I want to keep here is HR comments. HR comments. HR comments. Let me keep it as a multi-line of text. Select the data as multi-line of text and scroll down. Click on OK button. Just I'm adding two columns here, guys. Whatever the list I'm using the yesterday's class, the same list. So just two columns I'm adding here. One is HR choice column, second one is HR comments, multi-line of text. Now go to the list, click on this leave approval. When I click on it, now it is navigating me to the list. Now this is the list I'm having. So just now I added two columns here. What are the two columns I added? Manager comments I'm able to see. Manager HR, still it is not added. It will take some time to reflect here. Yes, now I'm able to see. Now see two columns added here, guys. One is HR, who is the HR, and what are the comments of that HR. So just I'm adding two columns into this list called leave approvals. Now once after adding the columns, now let me go to the Power Apps, guys. Let me go to the Power Apps. Let me go and open that app. Currently, in the yesterday's class, we created an app called leave request. Just go and click on edit. Go and open it. Fine. Let me go to the data and click on refresh. Now see, by default, these are the columns I'm having here. I want to add two more columns here. What are the columns I want to add it here is HR column, guys. Only HR column. So the employee need to select the manager and the employee need to select the HR also. So how to add that column, HR column? So select the form, go to the fields. There is something here called fields, properties. Go to the edit fields. Now here, go and click on add fields. When I click on the add fields, now it will display the fields here, guys. Now what's the field I want to add? HR. Just go and search for HR. Now see, I want to add the field called HR field. Just to select this. Select the field and click on add. Now when I click on add, now automatically that field is going to be added. Automatically that field is added. Select this. What is the 24 semi bold? Let me select this. Let me do some basic formatting. Let me select this one also. 24. Semi bold. Let me select it to Patrick. Let me select this one also to Patrick. Just I'm doing some formatting, guys. Now once after this, let's just reduce the height of this somewhat, and also increase the form height. Select the form, just increase the form height. Fine. This is the form I'm having. Just reduce the size width of this HR. Fine. This is the form I'm getting. Just I'm adding the HR name, HR field now. Now just go and save it. Go and save it. Now, if I go and let's say I'm entering one of the leave request case. Let's say leave type is, let's say casual leave, or let's say I'm taking it as a paid leave. Now, what is the leave type is? Occasion. So there is some occasion I want to take a leave. So from date, let me select the date as today's date, and to date is tomorrow. Just select some random dates. Now, who is the manager? Let's say I'm going to select the manager as Sunil. Let me select the manager as Sunil, and let me select the HR as Anil. Who is the HR is? Anil is the HR. So once after selecting this, when I go and click on the submit button, now I'm going to apply the leave. I'm raising one request, leave request. Now whenever I click on the submit button, this data will comes into where? Into the data source. What's my data source name here? What's the list name? Leave approval. Now whenever the data comes into the SharePoint list, automatically I want to go and start the approval process. Now let me go and open the Power Automate, and let me go and create the flow. Now I want to go and create a flow, guys. So already in yesterday's class we created one flow. So what is that flow we created? So leave approval is the flow name we created. So when I go and open this, what we discussed in yesterday's class is just taking the approvals from the managers. That is single level approval. So let me open it. Now see, this is the flow we created. So what is this flow? When an item is created in the SharePoint list, first go and update the data. First go and update what I want to update. I want to update the status to waiting for manager approval. Next, once after updating the status, let me go and send one email to that employee, whoever the employee is submitting the leave request. I want to send one email to that employee that your leave request has been submitted successfully. Next, once after sending the email, I want to go and start the approval process. So here I'm assigning some roles here. What is the type assigned to? Who is the manager? What's the description? And then if the condition is true, if the manager is approved, so I'm taking one condition here. So the outcome of the previous step, the outcome of this step is equals to approve. Then what I want to do, I want to go and update the data. Update what I want to update. I want to update the status to what? Let's say, wait, let me change it to approve. So yesterday's class approve it is. Once after updating the data, next go and send one email to that employee regarding what's the subject approved. Hi, whoever the name it is, your leave request has been approved by the manager. Approver comments, whatever the comments the approver is giving. If suppose if the manager is not approved, then go and update the items to what? Go and update the status to rejected. Once after updating the data, just go and send one email to that employee that your leave request has been rejected by the manager. So up to here we discussed in yesterday's class. This is single level approval case. So in today's session we need to go and discuss about the multi-level approvals. So we can go and add the multi-level approval also here itself. But instead of going adding the multi-level approval in the same flow, let me go and create one new flow for the multi-level approvals, both manager and HR. So just go back. Go back. And let me do one thing. I want to stop this flow. So already whenever the record is created in this SharePoint list, this flow will run. I don't want to run this flow. Just go and stop it. So go to this three ellipses and there is an option called turn off. Turn off this flow. I don't want to run this flow. For now, I want to turn off it. Now once after turn off, I want to go and create a new flow case. Whenever the employee is submitting the leave request, the data comes into my data source. Whenever the data comes into the data sources, now I want to start the flow. Now let me go to the create tab. Go to the create tab. Now let me go and select the flow type as what? Automated cloud flow. Let me select the flow type as an automated cloud flow. Now what's the flow name? Multi-level approval. Let's say the flow name I'm keeping here is what? Multi-level approval. Next, once after passing the name, I want to select the trigger. When I want to run the flow, when an item is created in the SharePoint, whenever the employee is applying for the leave, the data comes into where? Data source. Whenever the data comes into my SharePoint list, then only I want to go and run this flow. So go and select the trigger as what? When an item is created, select the trigger and then go and click on the create button. When I click on create, now it will allow us to go and create one flow. Let me switch back to the world designer. Now see, the first step is what? Trigger. What's my trigger? When an item is created, where the item is created, what's the site address? Power Automate flows. So select the site address as Power Automate flows. What's the list name? The list name is leave approval. Now whenever the record is created in this SharePoint list, what is the action I want to take? The actions I want to take here is go and click on this new step, guys. When I click on it, now see, it is telling that go and add the actions. What the action I want to take? I want to first update the items. So I want to update some data. So update the items. So I want to update the items in the SharePoint. What I want to update? See, whenever an employee is submitting the leave request, by default, what the status is? Submitted. I want to change it to waiting for manager approval. So first action I want to take here is whenever the employee is uh, submitting the leave request by using the Power Automate, I want to go and update the status to waiting for manager approval. So what is the site? Let me select the site as Power Automate flows. Let me select the site as what? Power Automate flows. So, and what's the list name? Select the list name as leave approval. Now ID, what is this ID? So every item will have one unique ID. Every row in that list is having one unique ID. So go and select this ID. Go to the dynamic content, select the ID. Next, it is showing all the columns in that list. So I want to update the list. What item I want to update the list? In this list, I want to update the status. So go to the status. By default is submitted. I want to change it to what? Waiting for manager approval. Change the update the status to waiting for manager approval. Remaining I don't want to change. I want to keep it as it is. Only I want to change the status here. Once after updating the status, next I want to go and send the email. So same process again. In the yesterday's class, whatever discussed, same process I'm going to build again. So the next step is what? Send an email. So I'm going to send one email. So go and select the action as what? Send the email version 2 from the Outlook. So to whom you want to send? Go to the dynamic content. I want to send this to. So go to this action. When an item is created, in this there is something called created by email. Select this one, created by email. Next, subject. What is the subject? Leave request. Your leave request has been submitted. Let's say your leave request has been submitted. Next, what's the body? Hi, I want to go and display the name here. Which employee is submitting the leave request? That employee name I want to display. Now go to the dynamic content. Now scroll down. There is something called when an item is created. Under this, when an item is created, there is an action. There is something called created by display name. Select this one, created by display name. So that means whoever the employee is submitting that leave request, that employee name I want to go and display here. Next, keep it in the bold. Keep this one in the bold. And then, hi, whoever the name, let's say myself, I'm submitting. Hi, Venki. Your leave request has been submitted successfully, waiting for manager approval. So this is the message I want to send. Hi Venki, your leave request has been submitted successfully, waiting for manager approval. Next, let me go and keep here thanks. AB trainings. Just I'm keeping something here. Just keep it in the bold. Now this is the message email I want to send. When I want to send the email, when a record is created, first go and update the status to waiting for manager approval, and then go and send the email to that employee. Which employee is requesting the leave? To that employee I want to send one email. What's that email? regarding your leave request has been submitted successfully. Now, once after sending the email, next I want to go and start the approval process, guys. Next, what's my requirement? I want to go and start the approval process. Now go and click on this new step. Now search here for approval. Now it will displace all the approvals here, guys. So if you scroll down here, there is something called start and wait for an approval. Start and wait for an approval. Select this one. Start and wait for an approval. Next here, let me go and pass the approval type. What's the approval type means? Let me go and set the approval type as first to respond. Select this one. Select the approval type as first to respond. Next, it will display some columns here. Now, what's the title? What's the title? What is the reason you are creating this flow? That is approval. Title is, let's say, I'm going to keep the title as leave type. So I'm going to select the title as what? Leave type. That means whether the employee is applying for the leave for what? Casual leave, medical leave, or a paid leave. Let me go and keep here the title as leave type. And next, assign to whom you are assigning this. First, I want to assign this. First, I want to assign the uh, automation. That means I want to assign this what we'll call approval process to whom. First, I want to assign to the manager. Once the manager is approved, then only I want to assign to the HR. So let me go here. Assign to whom. If you scroll down, there is something called created. When an item is created, so here you can see when an item is created. Under this, you need to go and select what? Manager value. Go and select what? Manager value. Select the manager value and details. Now, if you want to mention any details here, let's say I want to mention the description. Guys. Again, go to the when an item is created. An item is created. Here, there is something called description in the field. So, whatever the description the employee is providing, I want to mention the description here. Next, once after starting and waiting, once after this, first, what's the approval type? First to respond. Title, what's the title? Let's say here I want to mention whether the leave type is casual leave, paid leave, or a medical leave. Next, assign to. First, I want to assign that approval process to whom? Manager. Next, details. That means whatever the description the employee is keeping here. Whatever the description the employee is keeping here. This description I want to go and keep it here. Next, once after this, I want to take a condition, guess. So let me go and keep here controls. When I go with controls, so there is one control called condition, that is if condition, guys. So I want to take the if condition here. So if the outcome of the previous step, what's my previous step? This is my previous step. So the outcome of the previous step, so there is an action called there is a dynamic content outcome. So the outcome of this previous step is equals to approve. The outcome of the previous step is equals to approve. That means if the manager is approved the leave request, then what I want to do? If this condition is true, what I want to do? If this condition is false, then what I want to do? So let me go with the true condition. Suppose if the manager is approved, so then what I want to do? First, I want to go and update the data in the list. So go and search here for update an item. So update an item in the SharePoint list. Select this one, update an item in the SharePoint list. So I want to update the data in which site? Power Automate Flows. Select the site name. What is the site name? Power Automate Flows. And next, what is the list name? The list name is leave approval. Now, what is the ID? So when an item is created, so select the ID. Next, what I want to do here? What I want to update? I want to update only the status. So update the status to what? If the manager is approved, then I want to keep it as waiting for HR. Manager is approved means next one is whom? HR wants to approve. So let me go and change the approvals status to what? Waiting for HR approval. Next, let me go and keep here the manager comments case. So if the manager is approving the leave means the manager sometimes they will give some comments. Whatever the comments the manager is giving, I want to mention those comments here. So there is one column, right? Manager comments. So here, whatever the comments the manager is giving, I want to mention those comments here. Go to this, go to the dynamic content. Under this start and wait for an approval, there is something called responses comments. Select this responses comments. So whatever the comments the approver is giving, I want to go and keep those comments in the manager comments. Now once after updating, so when I want to go on this action, if the manager is approved, if this condition is true, the manager is approved, Then first update the status to waiting for HR, and keep the manager comments. Whatever the comments the manager is providing, keep those comments here. Once after this, next I want to go and send one email to that student. What's the mail? Let me go and keep here. Send an email. So I want to send one email to that employee. What regarding what? That means your leave request has been approved by the manager, waiting for the HR approval. So just go on to whom you want to send case. I want to send the email to the created by whoever it is created. So to that employee I want to send created by. When an item is created, who is creating? To that employee I want to send when an item is created by email. Next, subject. What is the subject? Let me keep here. Waiting for HR approval. That means the manager is approved. Next one is waiting for HR approval. Next, body. Hi. I want to mention the display name here. You scroll down, there is something called created by. Go to the created by. When an item is created, here let me go and select the display name. Created by display name. Just go and select this display name. Now keep comma. Let me keep it in the bold. Next, let me keep here. Your leave request has been approved by the, or let me, instead of keeping it as approved, your leave request has been, let me keep here the outcome, guys. Outcome of the previous step. Outcome of the approval. So what's the outcome? Maybe the manager is approved or rejected. Instead of hard coding, let me keep it as outcome. Your leave request has been, it is for approve. Yes means approve. Your leave request has been approved by whom? Manager. So let me keep here. Your leave request has been approved by the manager. Let me keep it in the bold. Let me keep the manager in the bold. And also let me keep this outcome also in the bold. So your leave request has been approved by the manager. Waiting for HR approval. Waiting for HR approval. Let me keep it here. Let me unbold it. Waiting for HR approval. And also let me go and keep here manager comments, guys. MGR comments. Manager comments. Whatever the comments the manager is providing, I want to mention those comments here. So let me keep it in the bold. And what the comments the manager is providing, I want to mention those comments. Now if you scroll down, there is something called responses, comments. Let me go and keep that comment here. That means whatever the manager is giving some comments, I want to keep that comments in the mail. Next, thanks. AB trainings. Just keep it like this. So this is what, when I want to send this email, guys, once the manager is approved. So if you see, start and wait for an approval. So if the outcome, if the previous step, if this step outcome is true, the outcome is equals to approve, then what I want to do, first go and update the status to waiting for HR approval, and then change, add the comments, manager comments. Once after updating the data, go and send one email to that employee, waiting for HR approval. Your leave request has been approved by the manager. So what is the comments of that manager, and waiting for HR approval. So this is true condition. Suppose if the HR is not approved, if the HR is rejected, then what I want to do? If this step, if the condition is false, then what I want to do? So let me go here. Let me add an action. So here also I want to do what? Update the items. So what I want to update now? Not get data. Just remove. Let me click on add an action. So let me go and search for update item. Now select here this one, guys. Update an item. So what I want to update? If the manager is approved, then I want to keep it as reject. So select the site as what? Go and select the site as a Power Automate Flows. Select the list name as approval, leave approval. What is the ID? Let me go and select the created by ID. Next, I want to go and change the status. Status to what? Reject. If the manager is rejected, then I want to update to rejected, and then I want to keep the manager comments here. Whatever the comments the manager is providing, I want to keep the manager comments. Go to the dynamic content, and there is something called responses comment. Select the responses comment here. And next, once after updating the data, next I want to go and send one email to that employee. What's that email? Your leave request has been rejected by the manager. Let me go and add an action. So what's the action I want to add it here now? Send an email. So to whom? Send an email. So to whom I want to send? Created by whoever the employee is creating the leave request, applying the leave request, to them I want to send. When an item is created by. Select this one. Next, subject. What is subject? Let me keep here rejected. Next, what's the body? Hi. Let me keep here hi. Display name. Go to the created by. Scroll down. There is something called created by. In under the created by, there is something called display created by display name. Just keep it in the bold. Next, let me keep here your leave request has been outcome. What is the outcome? Let me go and select the outcome. What is the outcome now? No condition means rejected. So let me go and select the outcome here. Select the outcome. Rejected by manager. So let me keep the manager in the bold. And also let me keep this outcome also in the bold. And next, let me keep here your leave request has been rejected by the manager. Next, manager comments. MGR comments. Now what's the comments the manager is providing? I want to mention those comments here. Now whatever the comments the manager, I want to mention the comments. Now go and select what? Responses comments. Whoever is responding for that approval, that comments I want to go and add it here. Now this is the mail I want to send when if the manager is rejected. So I am keeping here for only one approval, guys. Still now we created a flow for what? Manager approval. So if the manager is approved, then I want to go and update the status and then send an email. If the manager is rejected, then I want to go and update the status and also I want to send an email. Suppose think that if the manager is approved, then go and update the status, send an email. What's that email? You are waiting for HR approval. Your leave request has been approved by the manager, waiting for HR approval. What are the comments? Next, once after sending the email to the employee, next what I want to do here is I need to go and start the approval process again. So what is the next approval? HR. So when I want to go for the HR, if the manager is approved, then only go and assign that leave request to the HR. If the manager is not approved, then don't want to assign it to HR. So go and click on add an action again. So go and click on add an action. Now what I want to do here is select the approval, search for approval. Now here also go and select what? Start and wait for an approval. Select this one and change the name this one, guys. Let me change the name for this. Go to the three ellipses, go and rename it to, let me keep it as HR approval. This one is for what? HR approval. Now what is the leave type? So that is approval type. First to respond. Select it to first to respond. And next, what is the title? Let me keep the title as, go to the created by, go to the created by, let me keep here the leave type and assign to. So I'm assigning this one to whom? HR. So go to the created by, when an item is created. So here there is something called what? HR value. Select the HR value and details. What's the details? Now scroll down. So again you can go and mention here when an item is created. So go and keep mention the description. Whatever the description the employee is keeping, what is the reason he is asking for a leave? That description I want to mention. Next, once after the approval, I want to take the condition again. So maybe the manager or the HR can approve. If the manager is approved, the HR also no need to approve. Maybe the HR can approve or may reject. Let me go and take an action again. So what that action is, I want to take the condition here, guys. Again, I want to take the condition. What's my condition? Let me take the condition. Condition means if condition. So what's my condition here? If the previous step is equals to approve, if the HR is approved, so let me go and select here. So HR approval, the outcome, select the HR approval outcome. So if the outcome is equals to approve, the outcome is equals to approve, then what I want to do, go and update the list, go and update the list status to what? Approved. Finally, I want to make it as approved. When I want to make it as approved, if both HR and manager has approved, then only I want to make it as approved. So go to this, add an action. So what is the action I want to add it here now? I want to add the action as update items, SharePoint. Go and select what? Update item. So what is the list? What is the site first? Power Automate Flows. Select the site, Power Automate Flows. Next, what's the list name? Leave approval. Next, what is the ID? Let me go and select here when an item is created. Next, change the status to what? Now I want to change the status to approve. When I want to change the status to approve, if the HR is approved, then I want to change the status to approve. Next, I want to mention the HR comments. Whatever the HR is providing the comments, I want to mention those comments here. So go to the HR approval. Under this, go and select what? Responses comments. Now who is the responder now? HR. Now once after updating the data, next I want to go and send one email to the employee. That means your leave request has been approved by the HR. Let me go and add an action again. Send an email to whom? To the employee. So I want to send the email to the employee. So created by email. Next, what is the subject? Approved. Finally, I want to keep it as what? Approved. Now what's the message? Hi, created by display name, created by display name. Next, keep comma. Next, your leave request has been approved by the HR. So instead of keeping here it as approved, let me remove this and keep here the outcome of the HR approval. Let me keep here HR approval outcome. Let me keep it in the bold. And also let me keep the HR also in the bold. Your leave request has been approved by the HR. Next, HR comments. Whatever the comments the HR is providing, I want to mention those comments. HR comments. So let me now let me go to the HR. So go to the HR approval. Select what? Responses comments. Select the responses comments. And finally, thanks AB trainings. Let me keep it in the bold. I think already is in the bold. Let me remove it from the bold. Fine. This is the message I want to send to that employee. When I want to send this message, if the HR is approved, if the HR is approved, then first go and update the status. What I want to update the status? Approved. And I want to mention the HR comments. Once after updating the status, then go and send one email to that employee. Suppose if the HR is not approved, let's say if the HR is not approved, it is rejected. The condition is false. The outcome of the previous step is not equals to approve. That means the HR is rejected. If the HR is rejected, then what I want to do? I want to update the items again. Update the item. So go and update the item. What's the site? Let me select the site as Power Automate Flow. Let me select the list name as what? Leave approval. What is the ID? Created by ID. Next, what is the status I want to update? I want to update the status to reject. Next, comments, HR comments I want to mention here. So go to this HR level, HR approval, go and select the responses comments. Next, once after having the responses comments, I want to send one email to that employee. What's that email? Send an email. So to whom I want to send? Whoever the employee is submitting that leave request, to them I want to send. And next, subject. What's the subject? Rejected. Let me keep here high. Created by display name. Scroll down. When an item is created, there is something called display name. Select this. Keep it in the bold. Next, your leave request. Your leave request has been rejected. Outcome. I want to keep the outcome here. Let me go and select the outcome of the HR approval. So go to the HR approval, select the outcome. Keep it in the bold. Next, by whom it is rejected? By the HR. Let me keep it in the bold. Next, comments. I want to mention the HR comments here. I want to mention the HR comments. I think it is HR only, right? Yes, HR. Now go and select the responses comments. Next, thanks, AB trainings. Fine. This is the message I want to send. When I want to send this email, if the HR is not approved, so this is the flow I am creating, guys. So lot of navigation will be there. Try to understand what I'm doing, guys. I know it is not that much easy to understand in one go what I'm doing here. So let me explain you at a high level again what I'm doing here. So this is the flow I'm creating. So when an item is created, update the status to what? Waiting for manager approval. Next, send an email to the employee that your leave request has been submitted. Next, start and wait for an approval. Now this for approval for whom? Manager. If the manager is approved, if the outcome of the previous step is equals to approve, then go and update the status to waiting for HR approval. Go and update the status to waiting for HR approval, and then send an email to that employee. Your leave request has been approved by the manager, waiting for HR. Once after updating it, next I want to go and start the HR approval. If the manager is approved, then go and assign to HR. So HR, to whom I want to assign this process? HR. Next, what's the condition? If the HR is approved, then go and update the status. Update the status to what? Approve. And then mention the HR comments. Next, send an email to that employee. If the HR is not approved, then go and update the status to what? Reject. And then send an email to that employee that your leave request has been rejected by the HR. So this is the message I want to send. And also, if you go here, if the HR is not approved, then what I want to do? No. What is my no condition? Just go and if the HR is not approved means then no need to go and assign to the HR. If the manager is not approved, then I don't want to assign that approval to the HR. So if the manager is not approved means maybe the manager is having some need, that employee need to be available by that day. Why? Because maybe there is some work. So the manager is not approved the leave. So go and keep here the status to rejected, and then go and send an email to that employee that your leave request has been rejected by the manager. So this is the flow I am creating, guys. So if the manager is approved, yes condition, go and update the status, send an email. Next, HR approval. If the HR is approved, condition again. So if the HR is approved, then what's the condition you want to take? If the HR is rejected, then what I want to do? So this is the flow I am creating. Now just to save the flow, let me check the flow is working or not. Fine, this is the flow. Let me save the flow. Let me check the flow is having any errors or not. Fine, the flow is not having any errors. Your flow is ready. We'll recommend you to test it. Before going to test, uh, there is no data in the SharePoint list. And also make sure whoever is selecting as manager, Sunil. So I'm logging in with Sunil, guys. In the incognizant mode, here if you see, I'm logging with Sunil. I think who is this? This is not Sunil. This one is Sunil. Now I'm logging with Sunil credentials here. Who is the user here? Sunil. So I'm in the Outlook of the Sunil. I'm opening the Power Automate for Sunil employee. So Outlook, Power Automate, Power Apps. No need to Power Apps, just remove it. And also in the Microsoft Edge, I'm logging with what? I'm logged in with Anil. So I'm taking the Sunil and Anil. Sunil is my manager. Anil is my HR. If you see here, I'm selecting who is my manager is Sunil. Who is my HR? Anil. Now just I'm logging with those. So yesterday we wasted a lot of time. So that's why I'm already logging in here. So I'm logging with the HR. HR is manager. Who is my manager? My manager is Sunil. Next in the Microsoft Edge, I'm logging with what? Anil. Now just keep in mind. Now go and start the approval process. Now go to the Power Automate. Currently I am the myself user 36. Myself user 36. Now go to the Power Automate. Go to the Power Automate. Test the flow. Test the flow for the first time. Test it. Now go to the Power Apps. Now what's the leave type? Paid leave. What's the description? Occasion. From date to date. Who is my manager? Keep in mind, Sunil is my manager. Who is my HR? Anil is my HR. Now just go and click on the submit button. When I click on the submit button, now let me go and check in the data source. The data is submitted to the data source or not. Let me go to the data source SharePoint. Now see, the record is submitted. Now who is my manager? Sunil. Now who is my HR? Anil. Now see, by default, the status is updated to what? Waiting for manager approval. So if you go to my flow, now see my flow is running. Now wait, it is there in the approval process. If the manager is approved, then only it will start the process. If the manager is not approved, it will wait up to here only. So who is my manager here? Sunil is my manager. Let me go and log in with Sunil. Now see myself, I'm logging with Sunil. Just wait, it will take some time to receive it. Yes, just now I received the email. Now see, I'm logging with Sunil here. Sunil is getting one email. Before getting the Sunil email, myself, I'm submitting the leave request, right? Let me check I received the email or not. Let me check myself. I received the email or not. Uh, why it is not opening? Let me go here and let me enter the credentials user 36. Let me open my Outlook. Just copy. Let me keep here user 36. Click on next. The username is incorrect. Just go back. Let me open the Outlook. Just let me show you whether I received the email or not. First of all, I want to receive the email as an employee. I'm submitting the leave request, right? It's too much. It's not allowing. Let me enter the password. Let me log in. First, I need to receive the email. Let me check. Yes, I received now. Now see, I'm logging with user 36. So myself, I submitted the leave request. Now if you see, when I received this email, 6:51, just few minutes back. Now what's that mail I received? Your leave request has been submitted. Hi Venki Challa. Your leave request has been submitted successfully. Waiting for what? Manager approval. And if you go to the SharePoint also, here the status is updated to what? Waiting for manager approval. Now I want to, who is my manager here? Sunil. Let me log in with Sunil, guys. I'm going to log in with Sunil. Now see, I'm logging with Sunil here. Now as a Sunil, I can go and approve the request. Now see, what's the leave type? Paid leave. When I go and click on it, so the subject is leave type. So if you see paid leave, who is that? What is the requester? User 36. At what date and time it is created? And the description. What's the description I kept there? Occasion. Now from here itself, in the Outlook itself, if you want to approve means you can go and select this. If you want to reject, you can go and reject. So let me go and open the Power Automate also. In the Power Automate also, you are able to see the same. So log in with Power Automate as Sunil is my manager. Now go to the approvals. There is something here called approvals. Go to the approvals. In the approvals, you are able to see here. So there is one approval just received. When it is received 5 minutes ago. So what is that leave request type? Paid leave. Now you want to reject or approve. Let's say I want to approve it. So when I go and click on approve, now see, it is asking us, choose your response. What is your response? You want to approve, reject, or reassign? I want to approve it. Next, what's the comments you want to keep? Let me keep the comments as, let me keep here. Okay, approved. Okay, approved is the comments. Now once after entering the comments, go and click on what? Confirm. When I click on confirm, that means the manager, as a manager, Sunil is approving the leave request. The response is successfully recorded. Now close it. Now go and go to user 36 case. Now myself user 36. Go to my Outlook. Now see, just now I received another email. So what's that email? If you see, waiting for what? HR approval. Hi Venki Challa, your leave request has been approved by the manager. So waiting for HR approval. So what is the manager comments? So whatever the manager comments they are keeping there, I'm able to mention here. Okay, approved. Now if you go to the SharePoint also, now see, manager comments is update to what? Okay, approved. And next status is changed to what? Waiting for HR approval. Now as a HR, I want to go and approve the leave. So who is my HR here? Anil. Let me go and log in with Anil. In the Microsoft Edge, I'm logging with Anil. Let me go to the Anil. Now when I go to the my approvals, currently I'm in where? Power Automate. Go to the approvals. When I go to the approvals here, I'm able to see that approval, guys. Now see, what is that leave type? Paid leave. So how many minutes back I received it? Just 58 seconds back I received it. Now if you want to approve or reject, so I want to approve this. Go and click on what? Approve. So when I go and click on approve, now see, I can go and enter the comments here. Okay, approved. Enjoy the occasion. Enjoy the occasion. Just I want to keep these comments here. Okay, anyway, let me go and click on confirm. When I click on confirm, as a HR, who is HR? Anil. So as a HR, he is also approving the leave request. Now, so automatically I need to go and receive one email. Let me go and go to the user 36. I'm in user 36. Go to the email. Now see, finally, just now I received one email, 6:59. When I go to this, now see, what is subject? Approved. Hi Venki Challa, your leave request has been approved by whom? HR. What are the HR comments? Okay, approved, enjoy the occasion. So if I go to the SharePoint, now see, here it need to approve, here it need to go and update. Maybe it will take some time to update. Now see, it is updated. HR comments. What are the HR comments? Okay, approved, enjoy the occasion. So like this, we are able to go and create one flow case. Now when I go to the flow, now see, it is telling that your flow ran successfully. So whenever if you go and apply the leave request, the data will go and store in the data sources. Whenever the data comes into the data sources, first I want to go and send one email to the employee that your leave request has been submitted. Once after sending the email to the employee, I want to go and start the approval process. I want to assign this approval to the manager. If the manager is approved, if the manager is approved, now see what's the condition? True. So that means the manager is approved. So if the manager is approved, then go and update the items. Go and update the list. Now what the status is updated? Waiting for HR. And manager comments, okay, approved. Next, go and send an email to the employee. So this is the email I'm sending. Next, once after sending the email, go and start a HR approval. So manager is approved, then only go and assign it to HR. If the manager is not approved, then by default I want to go and do what? Reject. So if you see, it is telling that the skip, it is skipped. Why? Why? Because the previous step is true. If it is true, I want to go with this. When I want to go with this, no. If it is, if the condition is false, when the condition is false, if the manager is rejected. So once the manager is approved, go and update the status, send an email to the employee. Next, go and assign the approval process to whom? HR. If the HR is approved, then true condition. So here also, if you see true condition is tick mark, but false condition is into. Why? Because the manager is approved. What's the condition? The condition is true. If the condition is true, then go and update the items. What I want to update? Status to what? Approve. And then comments. What's the comments? Okay, approved, enjoy the occasion. Next, send an email to that employee. So your leave request has been approved by the HR. So like this, you are able to go and create a approval process, multi-level case, multi-level approvals. Nothing is there, easy to understand, but there is lot of navigation will be there. So if you want to understand this navigation, you need to practice. Go and watch the video multiple times and practice it. So it nothing, whatever discussed in yesterday's class, same we are discussing now in today's session also. But in yesterday's class, single level approval, today is multi-level approval. When the manager is approved, then go and assign that approval process to HR. If the manager is not approved, then I don't want to assign it to HR. So this is what the multi-level approval process. Here I'm applying two level. One is manager, second is HR. Like this, you want to add n number of approvals? Yes, you can go and add the n number of approvals. So this is what is meant by the multi-level approvals case. And in the next class, we'll discuss about auto approve or reject. So if the, let's say today I applied the leave request. By the end of this day also, up to 6 o'clock, the manager is not approved. Maybe the manager is forget. So what the manager is doing, if the manager is not approved by the end of this day, by 6 o'clock evening, by 6 p.m., I want to make it as auto approve. Automatically, the manager needs to approve the leave request. When? After 6 p.m. So how to make it as auto approve? So we'll discuss it in the tomorrow's class. In tomorrow's class, we'll discuss about auto approval. Fine. Let me stop here now. Let's go to the questions.